Hi guys, welcome to my live. So right now we're gonna teach you the basic commands and syntax of Python programming language, from the variables to integers to sets to um, what we call this data structures or any kind of data types. We're gonna tackle those things and the best that I could. So we're gonna create first our folder in order to run our code. So it's much better that you will follow me along in order to create a folder for Python. So this time we're gonna create this one, Python first. Then we're gonna select this one, this folder, and we're gonna save this one for the purpose of our previous projects. So just click this, I trust the authors, and then here we already have our folder in our Visual Studio Code as our IDE or integrated um, environment, and it's we're gonna first go to the terminal by typing Control Shift and this before the first keyboard in the number one, which is tilt, alt tiled. I forgot what's the name of that, but in order to click it, just go this in this ribbon, okay, or this drop down menu. So this click terminal or Control Shift this one. And after that, we're gonna create our Python environment. So in order to create a Python environment, you should be able to follow along the tutorials on how to put the environment in your machine. But if you already have one, um, it's good for you that you already created that one. But we're gonna skip that tutorial for now. This is for the basic commands on Pythons, not for the tutorial on how to do that. So this one, we're gonna create our environment by typing Python, just calling the Python module or the library of Python, and just type M and then make a virtual environment for that in this folder, which is the Python course that you could be able to use all the modules of the Python or the libraries of the Python inside of this one. So we're gonna install something library like Panda or something like that. You're gonna be able to import those files in this that environment could understand what kind of module or library you want to import on your file. Okay, so that's it. So just uh, continue typing this one, and then after creating the VENV virtual environment, name your virtual environment here by just put my env or my environment for easy thing. So my Python environment or my environment, and then after doing that, you could be able to see that the environment of your Python is already here. So it could be able to understand the modules that you want to import here. So it's easier that you could be able to access the modules in this because Python can understand it. And then after creating that, you type you go to the folder which is the my.env, which is this one, and then you're already in that in that folder. So you could be able to activate already your Python environment because you have not yet running your environment here, even though you are on that folder. So you have to run that. In order to run that, I think just type this one script slash spelling is S and then activate. And then you could be able to see that one because that slash there, this one, that slash there, that means to say that you are already on that folder. Okay, you are on that folder, and then inside of that folder, there is a folder called scripts, which is this one, and then that one has these files, and these files, this file one activate here will activate your environment for your Python language. Okay, so that means that when you try to install it, pip here like that, short term for environment for Python, you could be able to do that. So that's it. And we go along to this one here to our Python. So I was watching watching this one. Okay, sorry, moment. Let's change the settings. Okay, guys. So I changed the settings already. You can chat now. So that's it. You can follow along with me. Then let's go. Continue our coding tutorial here. So right now we are on. Let's close this one because we don't need this one. It's a JavaScript file. So here we are now in our environment, and then we're gonna. If you try to close this one here, all the editors or the files that you open will be closed, and then this time we're gonna create the first file that we're gonna make. So this one is the basic, this thing, basic, okay, basic commands and syntax of Python, just like py. And then, so there, here we go. We can create now. Hi, Programming QDev. So let's try to come along our ideas and how to make uh, our skills in Python programming much better. So we're gonna be able to share our knowledge here, not just mine, but also you could uh, share all your knowledge by chatting there. So first is we're gonna create a variable. So we'll know that variable has value inside of that. So it could be integer, it could be string, or any kind of value there, right? It could be float or something like that. So there are so many values inside the variable. So variable is very important in order to make our data have a type. So data has many types. It could be string, integer, or int. So for example, if we put that variable one there, so we're gonna how to be able to know the value of that. It's by type, printing the type with var, just like this, if I was not mistaken. Type and then var. So let's try to run that one and save it in our Python dedicated terminal and run the py. Let's print type of variable there. And it's an integer. It says here it's an integer, right? You can see it's an int. So that's how you could be able to know if the variable side of that variable is an int or string. Okay, so that's it. And that's a variable. And how to get the value of that variable is simple. Just type print, and you just say to the machine that show me the value of it. So that's it. That's print one. And then I'm gonna say about string. We're gonna put some just like this one. This is a string, an apple. Okay. Then we're gonna print this one, and as you can see, we use the variable var here, and then there's a var is also here. So when you change that variable here, the result of that, it will also automatically change this one here. Okay, it will be an apple already. It will not be number one. Okay, so that's it. And we're gonna go there and then run. Then it's an apple already. So that's it. And what else? We go now to we already discussed the integer, the string, the variable. What else that it could be able to share to you? We're gonna share to you. What else? What do you like that you want to share? That I want to share to you? Maybe we could discuss the topic about arithmetic operations. Symbols, very easy to use. When you're gonna go var is equal to 3 plus 5, 4 plus 5, like that. And then you're gonna print it. It will gonna sum up. Okay? Let's try if we were gonna compute it. So it's 49. So it's ready. You could also use sum of var. No, we're gonna show to you the object. It's not the value for that. So automatically it will sum up the value here. And also concatenations. So concatenations is for the string. For example, var is equal to apple. I love like that. Apple. It's a what we call concatenations, which means that it will add all those strings inside of that variable. So we're gonna print the variable there. Let's concatenate. So it says here, I love apple. Okay, so that's how concatenation works. And also, we're gonna use now, um, for example, um, you want also to concatenate inside the print variable, in the print function. So print is a function, okay? So when you say about function, it will work out if you were gonna use that one. It will not work if you will not use that. So for example, you just put variable is equal to 1 or variable is equal to apple, and you do not make a function or not call a function, nothing will gonna work on your output. So it's like you're telling something to do, and then you call it, and then it will do it. The robot will do it. For example, function the robot could get an apple and then give it to you, but it will not do what you want to do if you will not call it, will not say to it, right? So that's how it works. Variable will say in as a sleeping if you will not gonna call it, but you can call it when you gonna use the print function. So that's it. That's how simple it is. And so let's provide to another one, which is the loop. So so the looping one is another wonderful thing to know, because it's interesting, because you're going to use your mathematical skills, analytical skills on how the loop goes. Okay, so for example, if and else statement loop. So for example, if age is greater than or equal 18, then so this means that he could be able to, or since you are an adult, right? And else, sorry, can I watch the Discord here? Discord does not. So we're gonna else. So print then your your um, dependent person for now. And then you can see here the the code has a warning for us. It says here age is not defined. So he's got confused if it's a function, if it's a variable, or what. So let's gonna call this age as a name of the variable. So age. So this time we're gonna use example 19. So if age is greater than equal to 19, then that means that he is already an adult, right? Because he passed this if statement. So so when he passed the statement, he will gonna skip this else here. And then he will gonna print this one and he will gonna skip this one and then the the task of the machine is already done. Because he cannot enter here because it does not meet this requirement, right? So I'm gonna print this one here and then gonna run, and then here you go. It says you are already an adult. So that means that he passed this one here, this condition here. But this one he does not meet the condition. So you're a dependent person. So you could not be able um, to rely on your parents or something like that. So that's it. And we're gonna change this one into 17.5. What do you what would you think if this were gonna be like that? So do you think it will be an adult? So let's try to check. So that's it. It says here 17.5. You're still a dependent person. So that's it. That's how it works. And then so let's go. Let's go forward to this one and then go dive with our here one. It's what they call the loops. So we're going to the loops right now. So let's go to the loop for loop. So let's gonna put like that here. That one is a comment. So how to make a comment is just control and then slash forward slash. Okay, so let's go to the for loop. So for loop has this kind of range. So it will stop until it meets the maximum um, range of that loop. So for example, for I in range 5, for example like that, in programming, in the Python programming, you have to put a colon here when you declare a conditional statement. In other languages, there are many different kinds of ways, but Python is easy because you just put colon there. So for I in range 5, we're gonna print the value of I, and then you will gonna see the value of I that it will gonna start to 0. So as you can see, the index of our value of range from 0 to 5 is not 1. It's in um, logic operations in programming, its value is I is 0, starts with 0. But in algebraic, linear algebra and algebra term expressions, the subscript start to 1. But here, it starts with 0. So when you print the value of I there, you're gonna see that it starts with 0. But if you're gonna put an I plus 1 here, you're gonna see that it will start to 1. Then that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's it. That's how you can be able to change it one. So we are on the for loops. So we're gonna go to the what we call the functions. Functions is creating a function. Already we have discussed a function, the meaning of function, right? Function is something that you want to do something. You want to make something work out. Like for print, this it will work out as a printing your value. inside the variable, right? And then this one, we're gonna create not a save function, what we call the um, what we call that is a keyword already, meaning it's already built in function. It's already being created. So this one, we're gonna create our own function. Then this function is just has no parameter, but um, we're gonna, I mean, we're gonna put some parameter rather, but it's a simple function. It's just defining only one a function. It has no methods inside of it. I mean to say what I mean to say is it's just a simple basic function. Okay, so we're gonna create a function like this one. Before you create a function, you should put a word def, and then for example, we're gonna put create a function that means greet, and then we're gonna put a parameter of a function. You should uh, make sure that it is only one argument that you will pass in there. Because if you're gonna put many parameters there or arguments there, you're gonna have some error. Okay, so this one there is a parameter here name. So you could be able to skip the parameter as well, and then we're gonna make it simple. Just print with hello, and then your name, hello, Andy, and then go to the outside of that function in order to call your created function. For example, this one greet here, you're gonna say greet. So this one, in order to call that function, you have to name the name of the function greet. And then if you're gonna call that function, it will gonna print out. So I'm just gonna close this one, make this one a comment, and then do it like that. So you could see, gonna run this one. So you could see that this is for Andy here, greet Andy, right? So that's it. And also how to put a parameter inside of that function is like this one. You can ask me, okay, maybe later on. So greet, that's it. And then we're gonna put some parameter there. Just gonna adjust this one here, put a name there, and then inside of this grid here, you could put the name of the person there. Okay, for example, Andy, like that. So here, hello, and just put plus there, and name, and that will automatically put the name there. Okay, so let's try to save that one, right? And here goes, hello Andy. So this works out, right? So that's what function is. And then there are so many ways on how to um, create a. So that's how function uh, works. And then we'll go to the modules. Okay, so modules. So modules are so what I have said earlier. It's composed of function inside of that file where you could be able to use it. Okay, so for example, you're gonna import something here, import math, and then in here we're gonna put print mass square root, okay, square root of value of 10, and it we're gonna print out the value of the square root of 10, or it's just 100, like that. So it will have an output like this. It's 10.0. Okay, so that's what squared function works. Okay, so when you're gonna call the function, it's just putting dot and then square it and then another bracket there and then put a value there. Okay, so that's how it will gonna work out. Okay, so that's it. And so this time we're gonna use the function for adding. Okay, let's go for adding. So this one is gonna be like def add A and B. So this one guys, it has two parameters inside of this. This one is A and B, and then we're gonna sum up this A and B here. So how could we be able to do it? So this time we're gonna use the return. So return means that when you call a function, it will bring the result then to your outside of your function. So we're gonna return to you. That means to say that you ask something and then we're gonna give you that result. Okay? So that's what return is. And um, what is the difference between print and return? Return means um, you're gonna save the value for that and then inside of your computer, and then also it will gonna show you result. But the print function will just print it. It will not gonna save. Okay? So that's how it called return. Okay, so A plus B. Okay. For example, A plus B, the result for that is saved on your computer, right? It, it already being saved in your memory. And then after making the function, you're gonna put two two are two arguments. Okay, this one is what we call parameters. Okay, the parameters are name of the value. Uh, or what we call the variable. Okay, just think of it as a name of a variable where a is equal to this one, the value here. So for example, we're gonna put 1 and 2. So 1 is the value inside of this a. You're creating a variable here which is a is equal to 1. So a is the name of the variable. So and when you put that inside of the function, and that means that the variable there ab becomes parameter. So remember that parameter is just a variable that you put inside of that parenthesis of the function add. Okay, so this one is a function and it has parameters. Okay, argument is you have to put the value inside of that parameter in order that it will not get have an error. Okay, it will do not get have an error. So if it passed the requirement inside of that function, then it will have no error. So this will have no error, right? So we're gonna print this one, and for example, print. So you will never have a result if you will just put add one to their function there. You have to call also the function print in order to print out the result for that, because the return a plus b is just on your computer machine being saved. It will not pop out on your screen unless you will do this function. You call this function print. Okay, so that's it. And what else? I'm gonna run this one, and as you can see, the result here is 3. So that's it. And then we're gonna also use subtract, subtract, and then Gonna call this subtract here, and let's look what's the result. It's negative. It's negative 1, right? Sorry, I put plus. So it's negative 1 already, right? So that's it. That's how it works. And then we'll go now to what need to be discussed. Mm, yes. So we'll go to the classes. So this one, so this time, guys, we're gonna discuss to you the topic about classes. So classes is what we call Python is the object-oriented programming. When you say about object-oriented programming, it could create an object. Okay, it could be able to develop name of the object. It can do the object work. It can do tasks. Um, it can label. Um, it can do anything because of uh, Python is an object-oriented programming. Okay, so now it's time to create a class. Think of it that creating a class is think of it it's just a blueprint or it's just an example. For example, you're gonna use um, car. The car has functionalities like driving, what do you call, making sounds, and also um, has a function of uh, going forward, going backward, turning to the left, turning to the right, right. That's what function, right, of cars. And also, it has a color, right? Could be black, it could be blue, it could be red, it could be orange, and also it has models like Lamborghini and many more. So that kind of description of your car can be equalized or the same with class. So that's it. It's like also animals, right? Animals, or specifically dog. Dog has a name, dog has a age, has a function of barking, walking, running, sleeping, like that. So so it's like a blueprint. They have the same, okay, functionalities. So they have also different kinds or unique kinds of functionalities, right? So you can you can edit, you can put something in it. So it's like composed of class could be composed of many dogs. For example, the dog one, the name is Mark, and the second one is Mark. The third one is Matt, and more. So that is instance of a class. So you could be able to create any amount of class instance of the class. For example, student. There are a lot of students, right? There's student 1, student 2, student 3, 4, 5. And this one is being classified into top, not sure, the second one, and the third honor, and the fourth honor. So these students are have different kinds of intelligence. The first one is the most intelligent one because it's top notch. The second one is much better to the third and fourth one. So they have different kinds of qualities of traits, or they have different kinds of expertise, right? So inside of that class, there are so many instances. The first one is the first instance, the second one is the second instance, the third students, the third instance, the fourth instance. And they have many functionalities as well. So that's it. So let's now go to the class. So creating a class is just like this one. Just make a type class, and then you're gonna define the class. For example, a dog, example dog, and then this dog has many kind of what we call this variables. Okay, so variables inside the variables are his name, his age, what else? Functionalities, right? So this time we're gonna make some variable inside of the class, but in, instead of calling that variable, but because it's not a variable anymore because we are on the class. So when you are inside the class, the variable name becomes the variable becomes what we call it attributes. Okay, attributes are already the what we call the name the variable. Okay, this if you are already in the class. So how to create variables or how to create, I mean, it's not variables anymore because we're in the class. It's already attributes. So how to create an attribute? First thing foremost is we're gonna define our attribute first. So define init. This init is this one init here is what we call initializing. Initializing means you are naming the variables, okay? You are naming all the variables. So before naming the variables, you have to use init, okay? And then this one self here is the one instance of your variable, okay? The name of the variable, okay, instance. So we're gonna use that one later on. So here, we're gonna create a name of the variable, for example, name, and then age, and then inside of this one here, we're gonna delete this one here, pass, because we're gonna put some attributes here. So this time we're gonna create the attributes. So the parameters, right? We have discussed it earlier. What's the parameters, right? Parameters are parameters are what we call the requirement of the class in order to pass the values inside of that the values that are needed inside of that class. So this one is a name, age are all parameters, and this one self here, it is also a parameter, a requirement in order that we could be able to create an instance for that one dog here. We are creating a one kind of dog, so we're gonna put self there so that we could have a unique description or distinction of that dog there. So first one is that self, and this the second one is the name, is age. But all in all, it's just how we just need two parameters. Okay, the first one is the name, and this one is the age. Because self here is just inside of this one. We're gonna use this one self later when we create the attribute. So attribute is equal to variable outside of the class. Okay, remember that. So we're gonna use this one the self now because we're inside of the class, right? So we're gonna use the self and then just put name. So you're just clarifying that I am creating now a variable inside of this class, which is the name of self.name. So, and then that name is equal to name. So the parameter that you put inside this one, this variable here, is equal to this one here already. So the name here you put inside of this variable name equals to the name here and is equal to the name here. So you pass the name variable here, the value of the name here of that parameter, and then put that in the self that name. So you when you create one class of a dog, it will save now to the first index. Okay, so this one, the self.name is created, and self.age is equal to age. So this age here will pass inside of this variable the value of the age that you put outside of the class. We're gonna put in here, and then after that it will gonna put in here, and then it will become the self.age in here. Okay, so that's how the flow works. And when you're gonna when you're gonna put some print value here, it will gonna print out. Okay, it will gonna print out. For example, we're gonna put the name of the dog here. So for example, we're gonna self name, gonna name, show the name of the dog, right? So we're gonna put the self there, and then there, and then we're gonna print the name. Okay, self that name. It will gonna print out the name of the dog that you were trying to print. So for example, when you're gonna call this one um, function here, this print name there, just create an instance first. You just create an instance. That means to say that we're gonna create the the first kind of dog. For example, this one is what you might say uh, my dog. I'm gonna say the my dog there, and then in that my dog there, there's a parameter that should be passive, right? So we're gonna go this one here. We're gonna call the class dog. By calling the class dog, we just type the capital letter dog there, which is this one here, the name of the dog class, and then put the two parameters, which is the name and the age. Okay, so this one is the name and the age. Okay, that's it. So for example, the name is Buddy, letter B, and then age is 3. Okay, so the dog class has two arguments in here that is really requirement for this class here to pass the requirement, right? It has two parameters. The first one's body, name is equal to body, and age is equal to 3. And then this name body here, we're gonna be this one, right? Is this one, right? And this we're gonna be this one, self that name. And then this 3 here, the age is this one, age is 3, and then self that age, we're gonna be this one. So when you're gonna call this my dog one, for example, this one is an instance already because we have created the first dog. It's different from the other dog. It's different from the third dog. It's different from the fourth dog. So they have different kinds of name, right? So this one we're gonna say I will introduce my dog, and then we're gonna comma and then self that name. Okay, you cannot put like that. Okay, and then we're gonna I will introduce my dog self that name, and after that we're gonna okay, so we're gonna put age here, def age. Okay, so remember that this self here is are this one. Okay, so he the class knows what are the variables that are on this word self. These are those variables, and these are just not a variable but an attribute already, because as I have said, it's already in the class. So this is the value, okay, of this one. So when you're gonna call yourself that name, he already understand that, oh, I already knew what is this self that name here, because you put self here. Okay, so he understand that. So we're gonna delete this self here, then and you ask for the self that name, then that means to say there is an error for that, because you have not put a parameter inside of this. When you're gonna use the parameter here, you should have put the parameter also here. Okay, so we're gonna use the attribute here, should put self here. Remember that, because you have to pass the the value of this self that thing here in this function first in order to run that. Okay, so that's it. And now we're gonna go to this one here. My dog is equal to dog body. So here we're gonna print this one age, and we're gonna do that. So my dog one, my dog one is this one, dog body 3. And when you're gonna call these functions here in order to show it, or to do that function, you're gonna say my dog one dot age, okay, and then put our name. Okay, you should not forget this one. Okay, this one dog name. Okay, so that's it. And then we're gonna save that and print. And then um, my dog one that name string is not callable. Okay, run. It's not callable. It's wrong. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. You should not put name here because it's the same. So introduce intro like that. And then be careful, because programming language is case sensitive. You have to put something like that. It should be different for other variables, okay? So that's how. Enter that name, then gonna go here. So enter that age. Then let's see. Sorry, I put plus there. It's not already needed. So here, I will introduce my dog body, and his age is okay. That's it. His age is 3. So that's it. How does it work? Could be helpful to our code. So, for example, you're gonna say something. You're gonna put input code for calculator. You're gonna use 3, and then put that to the input, text input or label input. Automatically, it will show up when you're gonna use this function or class here. So that's how classes is very helpful in our application. So when you're gonna develop something, this class is very helpful in order to create multiple functions. Okay, so you could never it's not hard to create functionalities because this class here has many functionalities. Okay, you're gonna add, you're gonna multiply, some um, um, subtract, divide, something like that. When you have a function, you're just gonna call this function and automatically it will gonna do it for you. You will never have a hard time coding lots of codes so to make to make another function in order to run to run that program because it's already created. So that's how it makes the work easier when you create a class. Okay, that's it. And what else? So that's it, guys. That's what Python programming. That's how it works. So those basic that you have learned in our topic right now are gonna be useful for your future. You're gonna be a Python programmer. So that's what I have learned so far from my journey of my programming career path. So I hope this will help you learn something new. Okay, so that's it, and thank you. Goodbye.